just can't stop now. No, trying to find a way out. Ay, feels like they won't let me move, let me breathe, let me leave, just like a maze, like a maze.
Yo, PolyRob, what up?
Yo, welcome to another episode of the PolyRob podcast. I am the couch of PolyRob. Thank you for tuning in once again on a lovely, heartbreaking, crazy, emotional roller coaster type of day. Make sure you subscribe on all the podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spreaker Radio, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere. Make sure you follow the PolyRob podcast and catch up and binge. You know what I mean? Binge if you haven't listened to the last couple of episodes. Just go ahead and just binge PolyRob. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I definitely want to start off this podcast by saying it's been hard for all of us. It's been hard for all of us, and you guys know what I'm talking about. A day or so ago, we lost a legend. We lost a LA legend. We lost a sports legend. And we lost a legend in just his manhood and his fatherhood as well. You know what I mean? We lost Kobe Bean Bryant in a helicopter crash. I don't want to dwell on what actually happened, and I really don't want to dwell on just being sad and emotional, but I do want to say a couple of things of why he inspired, so many people. I think that's the important part, is to be inspired by someone, to be engaged in what they're doing to motivate you to do what you do. You know what I mean? To be honest, I'm a new Laker fan. I'm a new Laker fan because of LeBron. I wasn't a Laker fan before because just being from New York, you just find your way to hate the Lakers at some point. Nevertheless, we know greatness. We know greatness when we see it. We recognize greatness when we see it. And the man was just the ultimate competitor. And not just in sports, in everything. You know what I mean? Including his fatherhood, which that's the one element that's closest to me. Like, I have developed just a newfound respect for Kobe and a lot of, other athletes that, take fatherhood like in full stride, because that's what I do. Just me being a father and me being in entertainment. You know what I mean? LA is, not gonna lie, LA is fucked up right now in terms of the people and how they feel about this loss. Like, anybody that's listening, if you're in another state and you're in another city, and you know somebody in LA, in California, give them a call and just talk to them, or just listen to them, and just listen to what they got to say, because LA is very affected. And the crazy part about it is, LA don't attach themselves to too many things or too many people. What I mean by that is, LA people are, sometimes they stubborn. So, it takes a lot to win them over. It takes a hell of a lot to win them over. And once you win them over, it never goes away. It never goes away. I am someone who's originally not from California, but has learned to live here, grown to love, the surroundings, love the energy, love the people, and learn how to navigate the proper way. And I think that's the same thing that somebody like, that Kobe did. You know what I mean? He came to LA and embraced it, even though he's from Philly. His dad is from Philly. He embraced, everything about LA, from the tacos to, the people to the lifestyle, everything. You know what I mean? And it's just a crazy loss, you know what I'm saying? And I hope everybody just finds their way to stay inspired and stay motivated, because if there were any last words that Kobe wanted to give this earth, it would definitely be that. Stay motivated, touch into your greatness, find something about you that you feel like you can tap into and really just go hard. Go all the way hard. You know what I'm saying? Rest in paradise, Kobe Bean Bryant. You will never be forgotten. The world appreciates everything that you've offered the world. You know what I mean? So shout out to Kobe. On a lighter note, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Lazy B the Great. He just won a Grammy this past Sunday at the Grammys for his A&R work on Tyler the Creator's Igor. Tyler won the best rap album, best hip hop rap album at the Grammys. And my guy was a part of that entire process from front to back. You know what I'm saying? He's been rocking with our future since the beginning, since the very beginning. You know what I mean? Starting off as a bodyguard, then leading up to A&R work and doing music management for them, and just really helping them conduct their sound and the way that they portray their music to the people. And he got his first Grammy, and I wish him many more. You know what I'm saying? He is a local astronaut, member. When local astronaut members, when they win, we all win. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very proud of my guy. You know what I'm saying? He brought a Grammy to Inglewood, which is a big thing. He's from Inglewood. And, it's just dopeness. You know what I'm saying? We growing, we getting better, we getting stronger, and it's more to be done. You know what I'm saying? And, it's funny because, he has, kids around the same age as mine. And, we had these conversations, about, being able to do something that transcends, the family, transcends time, transcends success. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just want to do stuff that we can make our family proud, for, and be able to just continue to do great things. You know what I mean? We come from families that have, we had hardships. You know what I mean? We had to figure out our way. We had to figure out how to get things done, the right way. You know what I mean? And, everything's coming, it's coming to light. It's coming to light. You know what I mean? So shout out to Lazy B the Great. And I appreciate him for just, always rocking with local astronauts. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you go check out his podcast that he is featured on, The Overrated Truth. It's a podcast for 4 people. Bad Luck, Badru, Lazy B the Great, and Mahoney. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go check that out. Podcast, Overrated Truth. Shit is jokes. Shit is thought-provoking. Go check it out. You know what I'm saying? On all platforms. You know what I mean? Speaking about, family, fatherhood, success, it brings me to my topic of today. So the topic of today talks about something that I'm very, very involved in. I'm dedicated to. Not too many people know about this type of idea, this type of goal that I have for myself that I want to share with everybody. Finally, you know what I mean? I've finally developed some type of courage to share it with everybody. You know what I mean? And I want to talk about breaking the generational curse. I want to talk about breaking the generational curse. This is a very, very important thing for me and my family. I feel like it should be for all families who have come from some type of poverty, some type of hardships, some type of, the path of trying to get yourself out the hole. You know what I mean? And I'm going to kind of break it down into a couple of different sections. Bear with me, because this is something that, I haven't talked about with anybody you know, in a long time. You know what I mean? Probably only a couple of people know about this thought process that I have of mine. But I'm ready to share it with everybody, and hopefully y'all take something from it. So, topic of today: break the generational curse. Now, what is that? What is the generational curse? In my opinion, the generational curse is something, an idea, a trait, a state of mind, a state of being that you and a selection of people in your generation and the generations before you that you guys act upon, you guys involve yourself in, that you actually do, that has a negative asterisk on it, something negative about it. Like a generational curse can be everybody. A lot of people in my family, they end up going to jail. A lot of people in my family, they end up being single mothers, or a lot of men in my family don't take care of their kids. Like, there's so many different generational curses. It can be all the way down to, my family don't keep themselves, healthy in terms of working out. You know what I mean? There's so many different ones. We can have a full list of them. Actually, in my podcast group, the PolyRob podcast group on Facebook, type in send me some generational curses that you feel like, you might have in your family, or you feel like, is in some people's generational families. You know what I mean? So just send me those. You could DM me those as well. But, a generational curse is just one of those things where it's like you're trying your best not to fall into this whole pocket. You know what I mean? And you want to do something different than what has been happening for years and decades before you. You know what I mean? First off, I want to talk about, my family. My family story, for the most part. We are a family from Central America, from Belize. You know what I'm saying? And, Belizeans, y'all know what it is. Hard working, very hard working. And my family is extremely hard working. Like 95% of my family is hard working. We don't play no games. We get straight to it. We working 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week. We going in. That's what we do. Also, our family, we're very, we're very marriage oriented. We get married. We get married a lot. You know what I mean? The majority of our households are married households, for sure. You know what I mean? We have, an average of, 2 to 3 kids. I would say 2 to 5 kids. Like, our average for having kids in per household is like 2 to 5 kids. You know what I mean? Like, we never just really have one and that's it. Like, over the course of our lifetime, we're going to have more than 2. And we're going to have somewhere around 5 or so. If we get to 6 or 7, which some of my family has, that's great. But the average is about 2 to 5. You know what I mean? Also, we're very communicative. We communicate a lot in terms of we talk a lot. We talk a lot. We communicate. We talk about different situations. We have, a strategic way of thinking, but we really talk a lot. And some people may classify it as gossip. We gossip. It happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it happens in a lot of families as well. I'm just telling you about my actual family, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's just like we know how to talk. We know how to communicate, for sure. You know what I mean? And those are some of the things that just stand out for sure in my family tree, for generations. I know that, my great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, like, they all carried these levels of being hardworking, being being in a marriage. You know what I mean? Being communicating, doing a thing. You know what I mean? Like, and having multiple kids. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of cousins, and I got a lot of nieces and nephews. You know what I mean? So I know that's really the thing for sure. And I'm saying that, I'm explaining that about my family because I do want to talk about some things that we don't see. There's a couple of things that we don't see in our family. And it's not nothing bad. It's just I would like to see more of it. You know what I mean? And the one thing that I will say that I do want to talk about in full a little bit later is the generational curse that I feel like we have that I want to break. I want to be able to, my family's very hardworking, but at the same time, it's like we work so hard, yet we still don't have the necessary accolades to support that. Let me explain. We can work 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week, overtime, and do all of that. And that's great. But we'll probably get to, a manager, supervisor, things of that nature. You know what I mean? It's very seldom that we see our family actually be an owner of something. You know what I mean? Like, actually own a business, actually own an establishment, whether it be food, whether it be construction, whether it be, entertainment, whatever. Like, to own something, to actually own something. You know what I mean? It's very small. Not saying it does not happen in my family. I'm saying the percentage is small to actually have owners, like people who own establishments and companies. It's very small in our family. Also, when it comes to, professions, like necessary professions, like, our family, we work very, very hard. But when it comes to actual professions like being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a successful computer technician, being, these professions that you're able to teach your kids and pass on to the next generation. Like, we don't have a three decade generation of doctors. We don't have a generational list of lawyers or generational list of cops, or you know what I mean? Like we would select whatever profession that we're in, and then that's what it is. Like, we don't tend to pass down our profession to our kids. It's usually like, get a good job, keep a good job, retire from the good job, and then be okay with life. We don't have the, go to school to be a lawyer, become a lawyer, show your kids how to be a lawyer, let them grow up and become lawyers, and then repeat the cycle. We don't have that. We don't have that. And like I said, it's not. These are things that are not technically bad, but at the same time, when you look at your family in its perspective, when you just look at the whole, spectrum of it, you want to be able to have some of these things in play for the next generations, right? You want to have some of these things in play for the next generations. I feel like it's a important thing. You know what I mean? And I think about that a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I think about that a hell of a lot. because I'm in music, I'm in entertainment. And, for, a lot of people, they think of, rappers and singers and producers. They always think of their profession like just on a surface level. Oh, you just rap. Oh, you're a little rapper. Oh, you're a little producer. Oh, you got your little career doing music. Sometimes they don't really realize the grand scheme of what this profession can do. Let me explain. For me, I'm on a quest to not only be great as a producer, as an engineer, as a songwriter. I'm trying to lay down the groundwork and the platform so my kids can have an opportunity to be musicians as well. My son, my oldest son, he drums. He's like a semi-professional drummer. The man is nice. He can make beats. No, he really makes beats, for real. My youngest, he makes beats as well on his computer. And his appreciation for music is tremendous. Sometimes it trips me out. How can I not give them the platform to say, yo, if you want to do music, here's the guidelines for it. And I got the connections for it. And I got the connections. And I got the platform and the company laid out so y'all could just jump right in it and do your thing. Of course, respectively learning how to maneuver and get things done. But yes, you can come after me in the same profession that I was in the same career that I was in, and continue on a legacy. Legacy. We don't even use that word often. We don't use it often. We probably only use it when somebody passes away. Probably only use legacy when somebody passes away. But this is something, legacy should be planned out and thought about and executed beforehand. It should be executed beforehand. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do and the path that I wanted to choose when it came to, music. Because you can choose to want to do music, but then you have to really sit down and think about, like, how is this music going to apply to taking care of my family and setting myself up and setting my family up for the future. And that's when music can, somehow give you some of the best opportunities. Let me explain. Y'all know that getting Social Security and getting retirement benefits is at an all-time low right now. It's at an all-time low. A lot of people are not going to be able to get their 401ks, man. Just let's be honest. Let's be honest. Especially if you're not in your full career, like whatever that might equate to, it's not going to be much. So you got to figure out other avenues and other things to do to be able to position yourself to have something to live off when you retire and have something for your kids. This is what the best of the best do. Not only are they working to have a roof over their heads and food in their mouth and clothes on their back, but they also working to make sure that the next generation has that, and then they can move on to bigger and better things. They got to move on to bigger and better things. You know what it is like when you focused on these simple things, just working, coming home, and you know what I mean, trying to save up. Like when you're doing all of that, you start to forget about all the other things that can matter in the future, and And these are the things where it's like, you know, you got to put it all in perspective. You got to put it all together. For me, I don't want to make money just so I can live for the next day. I want to make money so kids ain't got to worry about college no more. They could just pick one. You got the money already. And if you want to chase your dream and it doesn't require working a 9 to 5, cool. You got money to do so. Let's get it. I want to see a string of musicians in my family. I want to see a string of whatever profession, whatever ownership. I want to see a string of that. Breaking the generational curse. You know, how to identify what that is. Like, let's identify like what it really is. Like, how do you find it? How do you see if your family has a generational curse? And keep in mind, this is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Because it takes sacrifice to do so. It takes sacrifice to try to break a generational curse. And it's not just going to be done with you. You can plant a seed and hopefully it trickles down to something. But how you plant that seed sometimes determines how well or if that curse will be even broken in general. How to identify what that is. You know, seeing a pattern that needs to be broken. You know what I mean? If you know that a majority of all the boys in the family, they end up going to jail, then you got to make it your duty to not be the next one to go do that. And yeah, you can listen to their logic. You can understand where they're coming from and all of that. But break that chain. Make sure that you're not the next one to go to jail. Period. You know, there's families out there like that. You know what I mean? There's families out there where, you know, cats is gangsters. They doing their thing. They in the streets. And you see a generation of gangsters after gangsters after gangsters. And some die and some go to jail and some strung out on drugs. It's a lot. And then all the while you see this one kid, this one boy that's intellectual. And he's like, yo, I'm going to college, B. And it just take that one person. It take that one person to recognize and identify that pattern. It take one person to see like, yo, all my big cousins and then my brother and my uncles, they all were incarcerated. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And they changed and they shifted. That's why I'm appreciative of the new generation finding new things to be into. I don't expect the new generation to be into what I'm into, especially if, let's say, quote unquote, what I'm into is not the ideal thing. I want you to do something different. Recognize the patterns. You know, if majority of the people in your family, you know, are bigger or heavier than they should be, you know, try to be the one to break that chain. Try to be the one to break that chain. Shout out to my homegirl, Lauren. I ain't talked to her in over like 10, 12 years. And I got a chance to, you know, have a conversation with her via text and phone call. And, you know, I see her Facebook and, you know, she was, you know, when I met her, she was like, you know, 2-something, 3-something or whatnot, you know, 300 pounds or something like that. And now she like 140. She like 140. And she looking good. She doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? And she was still an awesome person no matter what size. But she said one thing over the text that stuck with me. She was like, I just want to see something different. I want to see something different. That spoke volumes. And when she said that, I knew exactly what she meant. It wasn't just with her she wanted to see something different. She wanted to see something different with the generation of people who have came before her. They probably most likely would have been heavy. She like, nah, I'm changing that, B. I'm changing it up. And good for her. She did her thing. How to recognize these generational curses. You know what I mean? For me, it's like I'm in music. And, you know, sometimes people take the opportunity of music for granted. You know, and I don't take it for granted because this is one equation that sticks in my brain. This is one equation that sticks in my brain that can change the whole dynamic of generations to come. Let me explain. So, you're at a job. You make $20 an hour. $20 an hour, you work 8 hours, right? You get, how much is that? That's $160 per day. Times that times 30 days. Then they take taxes out. Then they take out, you know, federal, whatever. Then you get your check. You go spend your check on, you know, your house, your cars. You know, you got a girlfriend, so she combining her work check. She putting it together. And then in the next 2 weeks, next month or whatever. If you get paid 2 weeks, then you get your money in 2 weeks. It's however it doubles down. So, you know, in 2 weeks or 30 days, you got to do this shit all over again and pay all the same bills. You got to do it all over again. And 2, 3 years, 4 years at the same job, you might have moved up. You might have got your raise is, they give you a raise. So they give you $1 raise. So now you're not making $20 an hour. You're making $21 an hour. Remember, you've been working for 2-3 years and you got an extra $1. Great. So you get a raise, you're doing your thing. Then you get another raise at 4 years. 22, or let's say 23. Let's just be modest. $23 an hour. Cool. So you're still working, doing your thing. After 6-7 years, you realize I've been doing the same thing for 6 and 7 years, and I haven't even reached $25 an hour. I haven't even reached $25 an hour. I haven't. That's just a regular job. Regular job, right? Now, this is the equation. This is where it gets tricky with music. Because you can start to do music, right? Let's say I started today. I'm making records. I'm putting together music. I'm busting my ass. The same 8 hours that I will work at Fry's Electronics or Bed Bath & Beyond. It used to be my job. Shout out to them. Busting my ass. I'm making music, making beats, making records, putting out records, doing my thing. 1 year comes, I put out a record. I don't really make no money. 2 year comes, I make a little bit of money, but it's not doing too well. Then I got to figure out other ways to hustle and do my thing. 3 years come, I get a record that's pretty good. Don't get the radio, but it's pretty good and people like it. They're enjoying. Keep in mind, this is 2-3 years of putting out records and working hard and putting out music. And I'm not really getting nothing. I'm not getting nothing close to $20 an hour. Nothing close. I'm getting $100 here and there. $50, $20. I gotta hustle. Even if I decide to sell drugs or whatever, I'm still not getting a lot of money. I'm trying to figure it out. right? But I'm still doing music. Fourth year come. Got some things going. The music that I used to do before is now coming into play. People starting to stream it a lot more. Then boom, I do a feature for somebody. They starting to recognize I got bars and I'm doing features. Now I'm getting $500 for features. $750 for features. Then I start performing. They start paying me $250 for features, $500 for features. So now the fourth year, I did pretty good. I probably clocked in about 30,000 for the year, or 40,000 for the year. That's cool. But I'm doing what I love this whole time. Fifth and sixth year, now it's on. Now I got a record that people respect. Now I got a record that's on that people popping with. I did my thing. I get a good percentage. I'm performing it. I'm rocking. I'm doing my thing. Now labels is checking for me. Now, the seventh year, wait a minute. I get signed to 1.3, 2.5 million. I get signed. I get some money. So now I got an advance to be able to live off of and do my thing. And then I'm making money and I'm doing my thing. And then in the seventh year, I go platinum. Or I go double platinum. Or I go gold. Now I get this check that says, you went platinum. You've accumulated $4 million. $4 million. And keep in mind, I just went platinum, which means that I'm one of the hottest commodities now. I'm hot. Now my value of being able to create more great music and get more income is at an all-time high out of my whole life. Now I got money to feed my family the real way. Now I got money to put aside for a rainy day. And now I have the accolades and the attributes and the push, and I got all the stuff going for me. Now I can move forward and try to get more. And whatever I get after this fact is dependent on how hard I work. Now, 7 years working a job with somebody, 7 years chasing your dream. Keep in mind, either profession, you don't know if you're going to come out on top. You don't know if you're going to get a platinum hit. You don't know if you're going to get raises all the way through 7 years. You don't know. But one thing is for sure. When you do what you love and you're in your profession that you love, not only do you get a shot to change your tax bracket, you also get a shot to change your family's tax bracket. The generation after you can change their tax bracket because they could grow up millionaires. They can grow up super thousandaires. I don't even know if that's a term, but let me use that. Super thousandaires. And one thing's for sure, when you work in that regular profession, you're not going to have those opportunities. Those opportunities are not going to be there. You're going to have to start over at another position and hopefully you come out somewhat on top. And then they're taking away your Social Security and your benefits. And then they just start stripping that from you at some point in time. You see where I'm going here? You see where I'm going? Now, with all due respect, I'm not saying that quit your job now and go chase your dreams. Hopefully you do that, but I'm not saying you have to do that. But what I am saying is people take entertainment and music, they belittle it so much sometimes. your fellow cousin, your fellow friend that's rapping, trying to get off and do their thing, your fellow homegirl that's trying to sing, they belittle it like, oh, just her little career. They talk down on it without even noticing it so much that it shocks them when they realize that that same person just changed the entire course of her life, his life, and their family's life, and you still right there at the same position you was 4 years ago. That's one of the reasons why I love music and entertainment so much, because it can really change the dynamic of generations to come in my family. I want that. I want that. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Because the same hard work that I would put into the jobs I used to have, I put it into this music. I put it into this entertainment. I do that. And I know that my quest is to change the generational curse in my family of just being the hardworking guy. I don't want to just be the hardworking guy. I want to be the guy who chased his dream, did what he wanted to do, and took care of his family and the families after him with what he loved to do. I want that to be my bottom line. That's my bottom line. And I'm talking to everybody who has a similar idea like mine. If you got a similar idea like mine to break a generational curse, I'm talking to you. Talking to you. If you just want to live your life, go on vacation every now and then and do your thing, all due respect, do your thing. This is not for you. I'm talking to the dreamers. I'm talking to the dreamers, the people who turn your idea into wealth. I'm talking to the people who turn an idea into wealth. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. We got to look towards the new future. You know, every year we want to do better. I get that. Every year we want to change something about ourselves. I get that. Let's start looking towards the new future. How about you look towards the future that's after you? Try that sometime. And I think that'll put everything that you're doing now in perspective when you look at the future after you, because there will be a future after you. And I think that goes back to Kobe Bryant. I think that's one of the magical things and the great things about him is that he left a legacy of greatness. He left a legacy of compassion. He left a legacy of family. And he left a legacy of wanting to do the things that you love with the people that you love. That's his legacy. And I'm pretty sure if the Bryant family had any generational curses, I believe that he broke that before he left this earth. For sure. I believe that he broke any generational curse before he left this earth. And if y'all don't get nothing from this podcast, just get this one thing. That there are people out here in this world that are fighting, that are working hard to break a generational curse. They going in. They going all the way in. And I applaud them. And I'm definitely one of them. I'm one of those guys that is breaking a generational curse. And I want everybody, if you know me, if you don't know me, it don't matter. If you see me and you talk to me or you say what's up, just know that you're looking at somebody that's finna change the course of his family's life. Just know that. Just know that. It's a real thing. I appreciate y'all for listening. I didn't want to ramble on too much. This is the PolyRob podcast, and I always appreciate y'all. And if y'all got any thoughts or comments about, breaking a generational curse, going to the PolyRob podcast Facebook group and just, send me comments. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Send me a DM through Instagram. Hit me on Periscope. Let's talk about it, because we need that, especially black people. We need to be able to start changing the way, our families live and the way we see life. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other, ethnic backgrounds that do this well. And we need to learn from them, study how they do their thing. And we need to incorporate that into what we do, but do it our way. You know what I mean? And I think we'll be all right. I think, a good change is coming. I think positivity and love will rejuvenate itself. And, let's just spread love and workload. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all subscribe to the PolyRob podcast on all podcast digital platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreaker Radio, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, and every other podcast platform that's out there, man. I appreciate y'all showing love. And, if y'all want to hit me on the Cash App, you know what I mean? Make sure you hit my Cash App, $ Yo PolyRob, what up? YOPOLYROBWHATUP. I'm still celebrating my birthday. Capricorn season is leading over into Aquarius season, and we still going. We still swimming, man. We swimming. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.